it is. We haven't done this in at least 6 months, but I am joined by the one and only Sam Proof from Kid Avalanche and
Yay.
samproof.tv. So it's great to have your company today, Sam. I was almost going to ask you, what have you been up to in the last week or the last 6 months? But
Right.
how are you generally? Let's not try to achieve too much all at once.
Good. I'm good. My wife and kids went to Michigan, so they left me alone for 2 weeks, and I'm going a little bit of stir crazy, so hence the show. And yeah, otherwise, just working on everything all the time. How have you been?
Yeah, a lot of day job stuff, keeping me very busy and very tired. But we just try to do what we can. So we are going out live to all the various
Yeah.
places. So if you are watching live, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. There are a couple of, I guess I should say too. Today on the show, we're going to be sharing some cool tips about different pieces of software that we use. DaVinci Resolve, the Advanced Scene Switcher
Yeah.
in OBS, also the Elgato virtual stream deck, and the other one, which is kind of escaping my mind right now, the Mix It Up chatbot, of course. So we're going to get it stuck into that shortly. There's a whole bunch of stuff actually happening, I think with one of your chatbots playing a game. But
Yes,
anyway,
there is. I'm gonna shut it down for right now,
okay,
so we
cool, cool.
actually talk about Mix It Up.
And hello to Reluctant Creators, who says long time no see, which I assume is for Sam. Um, Saeed is saying hello from Germany.
Sure.
Welcome back,
Good to see
Sam.
you too.
So great to have your
Hey,
company,
hello.
everybody.
Good to see you both.
I'm gonna just acknowledge the fact that Sam still does look pretty fuzzy on today's stream, but we're just gonna keep going. We're gonna continue through and see where we end up. The joy of live internet is a thing. So before we get started, I do want to touch on a couple of news items because I'm sure if you've been here a hot second, you probably would have heard me talk about this thing, which is the Rode Wireless from Micro from Rode. It's basically this wireless microphone thing, USB-C or Lightning connections. You connect it to your phone, you record, and you're good to go. It's really amazing. I love it. Again, not an ad. I just think it's really cool. But during the last
Yeah.
couple of weeks, they've actually released a video receiver for this. And essentially, this can be used as a USB receiver, but it also has the 3.5 millimeter TRS cable. The amazing thing is, if you already own this, register it with the Rode, pay a little bit of money for postage. It was $8 Australian for me. They'll send you this for free. So I did that on
That's
Wednesday. It
awesome.
was it was in my hot little hands by Friday. Admittedly, Rode are an Australian company,
Amazing.
so I can't guarantee that it'll be like that for
Sure.
everybody. But I just love that, and I'm
Yeah.
I'm really curious, and I haven't had a chance to talk to Rode or test this out yet. But I'm kind of wondering if I can use the TRS connection and the USB connection at the same time to maybe record some audio to a
Oh,
camera and a phone at the same time, and maybe bring that stuff into DaVinci to do a bit of a multicam edit. The other thing that happened during
yeah.
the week, if you've been on TikTok during the week, you probably got a message saying that you're impersonating somebody else, and there was a button to click if you wanted to protest this allegation. If you clicked on that button, it would just time out to nothingness. TikTok have come out and said that this was an error and not to worry about it. So I'm sure it caused a
Yeah.
lot of people a bit of heart failure over the week. It certainly made me quite nervous, for sure. But apparently, we don't need to be concerned about that one.
Yeah. No, it's every once in a while they just do a full bamf of nothingness of like out of the blue, like something just shuts down weirdly. And then all of the conspiracy theorists come out and go, this clearly means that Meta owns TikTok.
Yes, it's funny. I think a lot of the times people imagine that organizations are much more sophisticated than they are, and that things aren't just genuine mistakes. But in this case, it appears to be. So, those are a couple of
Yeah.
things I just wanted to mention. So we're gonna get stuck into today's topic. We're gonna be talking about different pieces of software that we use and that we like, and hopefully teach each other something about that software. Um, and I guess for me, I'll start over here. Let's see if this magical button works. So I want to talk to you about DaVinci Resolve, and again, this is something that people who've been joining my streams of late have been hearing a lot about, because I'm just really excited about it. I guess the other thing too is the reason I'm excited about it. Not only is DaVinci Resolve 20 out and it's amazing, it has so many cool features, but I also bought the Speed Editor, which is this amazing little thing here. It is so beautiful. It feels amazing to work with. I've barely scratched the surface of what I can do with it, and I'll try and explain some of that as we go forward this morning. But the thing about DaVinci Resolve 20 in particular is it does actually have a lot of AI features, and Sam knows I have a lot of feelings about AI. And there are some features in here that I will probably never touch. There are other things that I think are actually genuinely quite useful. One of the ones that I was playing with during the week is sort of an audio checkerboard option, and it'll take video footage, and if you have two people speaking, and it's maybe it's one camera, maybe it's two camera, but the audio is essentially one track. It will use its AI, it will analyze the audio and people's mouths moving, and actually move that. It'll slice that up and put it on two different tracks. And I actually tried it out with some of our old footage from this show, and it did a pretty good job. I think the only problem was I have this terrible habit of talking over you, so it didn't get it perfectly, but it did a pretty impressive job. I'm not going to lie. So that's cool. And there are all kinds of things. I guess the other thing too is that we do have Magic Mask, which is just mind-boggling. So I'm just switching over to DaVinci Resolve now. This is actually the cut page. The cut page didn't really make a lot of sense to me until I got this keyboard, but essentially what I can do is I can drag my footage into the master, into the media pool, if you like, and I've got a few different buttons, and I'll put this overlay back on and just talk you through some of these. I wish I could highlight them, but essentially just above the scroll wheel there are three white buttons. One is shuttle, one is jog, and one is scroll. So if I turn that off again, and I'm just going to see if I can maybe make that a little bit bigger so you can see more of what's happening. So with shuttle, and again, I appreciate the people on the stream won't be able to hear this audio. Sam won't be able to hear this audio either. But if I have shuttle on, I can sort of position this in a certain position and let it go, and it will just play at that speed. If I've got jog, I can sort of just go through the audio. And you'll see there that it's giving me a really good close-up of what the waveform looks like. And if I've got scroll, it'll actually show me the whole thing. And I should say too, I have these three clips here. These are actually all represented by this entire thing. So you can set these up in different bins or folders and go through them like that. But essentially, the really beautiful thing about this is if I go back to the jog, and like this is kind of a presentation that I've done mostly in OBS, just because that's the way I like working. But essentially, I can use my scroll wheel. I can put there's a button for in. I got to make sure I'm on my source in. This is the problem with me doing this live, because it's probably not going to work now that I'm actually doing it live. But essentially, I might even just try. I'll try that. I don't know if that's actually working, but essentially what we do is we find our in point, we put our out point. There we go. It selected something. I don't know if it's all of what I wanted. I don't think it is actually. Let me just zoom in a little bit. All right. And there is also, I believe, an escape button. So if I press the escape button, that'll get rid of those changes. But again, if I go in, press the in. And I know Reluctant Creators is in here, so if I'm doing this wrong, perhaps he can tell me what I'm doing wrong. Out, and then I go Smart Insert, and it throws that into my main timeline. So I can keep doing that. And again, for something where, I've done a live, and I've spoken about something, and then I've moved to something else, and then I've gone back to that topic, just finding these segments, throwing them in like that is really, really cool. I'm going to just arbitrarily sort of go through... and grab some of this footage, because I kind of want to show you something with that as well. Probably not that part of the video. And again, this is just me demonstrating those wireless micro thingies. We'll get there eventually. No, normally I probably wouldn't do a whole bunch of clips together like this, but in this case, it's just how it worked out. I can go in. Find my out points. And again, this is just me sort of demonstrating how far away I can be from my camera and still get, or phone in this case. Just find my out points.
For the record, John can be so far he's behind me. For those of you watching.
Yes, there is that. All right. I know there's a lot actually happening in chat, and I love that, and we'll get to it in a second. But essentially, I'm just going to pick an endpoint because we'll be here all day. But I go out, and then I can go smart insert, and then I've got that there. And I guess the other thing, too, that I could potentially do, so if I escape out of that, and I don't know, I want to get to the last little bit, because this is really just a static image. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to say in, out, and I'll go to my timeline. And I haven't actually tested this, so this will be another classic thing that goes terribly wrong. So maybe if I do that here, go back to my source, and I will go place on top, it'll actually put that in here. And the thing about that is that can be any kind of B-roll that we have on there as well. So we've got that. That's all really, really cool. And I can go to my edit page. I can make whatever edits I want to do. The thing I do want to kind of draw your attention to, and I know this is kind of a little not terribly exciting for people watching who may have seen me do this before, but I'm just so excited about it. So what we can do is if I go to this particular clip here, and I go to my color tab, this is where we have this magical thing called Magic Mask. So basically, it's just this option here. It's the AI Magic Mask. If I click on this one, I've sort of got my all kinds of options. So what I want to do is essentially, I want to put a few dots on me. And again, I think I've probably got a few too many things running simultaneously right now because it is it is having a moment for sure. The other thing we can do is if we click on this magical little button down here, it'll toggle the mask overlay. So it'll actually show me what is being highlighted with this red overlay. So that's really cool. The other thing that I kind of want to do is I want to add a node, and I want to add, what do I want to add? It's been a hot second since I've done this. Let me see if I can remember. I should really have reluctant creators like just remind me of all of this stuff every time I try to do it. But add mats, composite mode. Corrector, parallel, key mixer. Oh no, alpha output. That's what I'm looking for. So I can literally drag this over here. And what I want to do is I just want to let, I basically established what I want to key in and out, and I'm going to use this track forward and reverse. So in some ways you'd start at a point where this has already got the best, best angle of this. This happens real time. This does happen on your local computer. This isn't a cloud thing. So again, you probably do need to make sure that you have a semi-decent computer to do this kind of thing. But yes, we'll let it do its thing in the background. And actually, while it's doing its thing in the background, I'm going to go back through some of these comments. So I'm just going to press this. All right. So there's a whole bunch of happening in here. So Said writes, isn't that the whole business model of TikTok? People pretending to be someone else? Maybe.
Accurate.
Okay, Reluctant Creators has some bad news for me. You can't use both receivers at the same time. Okay, so it is one or the other. Yeah. No worries. And Reluctant Creators is doing Learn Something New on DaVinci Resolve daily for the next 30 days. So definitely check out his channel if you're interested in doing that. I've certainly been watching some of those videos of late.
Oh, I will check that out.
There are some really cool people on YouTube worth following when it comes to DaVinci, says Saeed. And he mentions Casey Farris and Jason. And I don't know how to pronounce Jason's last name, so I'm not going to try, but you can certainly check it out. There we go. Okay, cool.
Probably. I know
And
I've
Reluctant
seen
Creators said,
several creators, and I never remember their names.
yes. So yeah, there's whole great stuff. Hello to Ernesto, who's joining us. Great to have your company. And Frozen Fusion 2. All right.
Wow.
Yes.
John,
Okay,
real quick,
Said,
I have
I'm
a
glad you
question
mentioned
about
this because
your.
I can definitely hear it too, and I
Okay.
kind of wondered if it was just me or if it's everybody. So I'm sorry
Mm.
about that.
It's
Uh, we'll try and
probably the
get through it.
joys of streaming and DaVinci running at the same time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right. So
Really quick, your DaVinci device, I forget what it was called. Your
you get the
very,
speed
very
editor.
special DaVinci Stream Deck. Does it require DaVinci be set to the default keyboard customization?
No, no. So it works a little bit differently. So if I go back here, it's basically its own little device. And the thing about it is, it's so beautiful, but it only works with DaVinci Resolve. You can't do anything with it outside of here. So essentially, and I'm not really sure. I'm not exact. Control panels, I think, is where it. No.
Okay.
There is an audio and video AI perhaps. There is an option in here, but no, essentially you don't need to worry about what the keyboard shortcuts are. It kind of knows what it is. And a lot of the buttons, and it's a bit outside of the scope of my understanding right now, but a lot of these buttons, they do different things if you press them once, if you press them twice, if you press them 3 times, or if you hold them down.
Very cool.
So they do have different functions on the cut and edit pages as well. So we've got that there. I'm not... If I go back to my edit page, you'll see that it's kind of cut me out here. And like, there are definitely areas here where I'd probably go in and finesse this a little bit more. But that in itself is, it is cool. And again, in this case, I kind of use this just to put some words behind, sort of between me and the background in this case. What I might do really quickly, if I can, and we'll just try and do this. So in the AI tools, this is actually a premium feature, so you do need DaVinci Resolve Studio for this, but they do have a create subtitles from audio option. We can specify the language or leave it on auto. I do like to have double lines. I can click create, and again, and I feel a little bit tinfoil hat saying this, but this all happens on your local machine. This is not feeding any LLM large language model out there. And I know a lot of people aren't concerned about that, but I kind of think, you know, if you do actually have, you know, if you've got trade secrets in there, that can potentially be a problem. But all right, so that's basically what I wanted to show you. That there's so much that we could potentially unpack, but I'm going to turn this off, and I'm going to turn DaVinci off, and I'm really hoping that the little audio thing in the background will go away, but I have a terrible feeling it won't. I don't know what that is, unfortunately, so I can definitely still hear it. And it looks like it's coming in from your end, actually, Sam. So I don't know. It might just be a limitation of our internet. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I do have filters on my microphone. Maybe it's just something from that. I can try knocking those off and see if it gets better. Let's find out. Nothing like changing things live.
Yeah. Well, look, we might do this.
Let me know how that is.
Yeah, it's still definitely going.
Still there.
Because and I feel a little mean doing this, but I'm gonna mute you for a second, Sam. Ooh. Okay. So I'm muting you on the stream. I can still hear it via video, but I'm imagining, like, for the next couple of seconds, people probably won't hear that on the stream. So I'm sorry that you guys have to endure that, but let's just keep going, and we'll see where we end up. It is very annoying.
I'm gonna try switching one more thing.
Okay.
All right, that's my best guess.
Yeah, I don't think it's done anything.
No
but
good. All right.
look, what we might do,
So weird.
if you want to briefly introduce this advanced scene switcher segment. So I guess first of all, and again,
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be any great surprise to anybody in our audience, but obviously OBS Studio is a piece of software that we use for video recording and live streaming. This is a plugin for OBS, and Sam, this is something Sam has spoken about it on the show previously, and for the life of me, it sort of hurts my brain a little bit. But I know he loves it, so I think we'll let him introduce this this video that he's created for this.
Yeah, so as John said, Advanced Scene Switcher is a plugin that you can download and put into OBS. It's not a native part of OBS, and it gives you the ability to create macros based on almost any possible input your computer has, especially within OBS, but even external from that. And it just creates a big if this, then that sort of work frame or workflow. And what I have done to kind of almost inadvertently piggyback off of what John was talking about in the DaVinci segment with, cutting between cameras on a multicam kind of situation. I've created this sort of routine that will give you a hands-free scene switching experience. So if you are a podcaster who has a guest on, whether that's in your studio or remotely, or maybe you're running a Dungeons and Dragons game and you've got like several people on screen, or even you're just a DJ with different inputs and stuff like that, and you want to just have some automated video switching to correspond to basically audio input. That's what I've laid out in this video. So
Nice,
feel
and
free
I
to
have
play
no
that.
idea what has changed, but your audio is suddenly wonderful. So let's just...
I did switch to a direct input to my mic instead of, it was originally running through OBS to video.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Let's check out this video.
Hey Sam Fam, what's going on? I created in OBS, Advanced Scene Switcher, this switcher that automatically changes my camera based on my microphone. Now, obviously, it's a little finicky because I'm in the same space relative to these two microphones. But if you have, even just a desk space with like a guest or a remote connection to a guest, even better, you can pull an independent audio connection. I can see myself. It's very distracting. And this would work a little more seamlessly. I actually don't hate the effect of this for your super ADHD people, but let's get into how this works. All right, so we are in OBS. I have my scene already laid out. So an important part of my particular scene, and this is not the end-all be-all, you can do this in a lot of different ways. You'll see down in my scenes, I have a host cam. I have a guest cam. So those have my two cameras, one each, and one audio source each. That is not important, that part. You don't have to do this based on scene. You can do this based on sources. You could even use like something like the move transition with the stroke effect to have both cameras on screen and just highlight the one that is actively talking, which could be both, depending on how you lay this out. So let's take a look at what I have. We'll go into our tools. And this is the advanced scene switcher. I'm just going to bring this up because it's kind of a maximum thing. You can look at just the two that I have set up, and I'm just going to show you what I've already built. I'm not going to bother with creating it from scratch. I have, to match my cameras, exactly the same titling mechanism of host mic and guest mic. So for host mic, you're going to see in our trigger area our if, and then we're going to select audio from our dropdown, and then output volume, and then H6 is my main microphone. That is that big microphone you saw in front of my face. So we will set that to be above a certain decibel point. which it gives you this readout, and you can see, you know, here I am when I'm pretty actively talking, right? So you're not going to see this one. You're just going to see this one. And you can adjust this based on your voice, your guest's voice, whatever. And to keep it really simple, once that triggers above that point, you then add the result, which is the scene switch. You're going to put it directly into program unless you want problems. No, you want it directly into program. You select your camera from your scene to, or if you do it as a source, you would select a source as that, and then whatever transition you want. Now you find that by adding the plus down here to add this whole thing. As an extra sort of bonus level of protection, so it's not just constantly switching, which in my case it kind of is, because I'm, again, in the same spatial area relative to my microphones. I did put this and statement, and this and statement is as follows, which is output volume of the other microphone, and in this case it is going to be below, not above. So if the other microphone dips below, like the other person has stopped speaking, whatever that decibel level is, so it kind of has that check and balance of, yes, this one is loud, this one has gotten a little quieter, make the switch happen. And again, over on our guest mic, we have the same routine, except we've switched the microphones. So now it is the webcam microphone, and the H6 is the relative microphone we're looking to go below. And that's it. It's a very simple routine to put together, and I think the effect is really cool. And yeah, even with this particular setup, as long as I, it's a little tricky sometimes with this, but you could see how in, a two-person setup, a true two-person setup, this would be very helpful. So again, you could do this for like a podcast. You could do this if you have like a multi-person stream, or you just want different people popping up on there. If you have, much like John and I have, two people on screen at one time, you can do that thing where there's a stroke around the camera, and it changes, to a yellow when that person is actively talking. In that case, you wouldn't bother with the and statement, or actually, yes, you would, but you would have that and statement be the same microphone as the if statement. So if it's above this decimal point, turn it yellow, and if it's below, I guess that would be its own separate thing where you could just turn it white or turn it off. You can, in Advanced Scene Switcher, do an else statement. So you could do that there. And, if people want to see that, I can do a follow-up video in the future. It's all the cameras all the time. All right, this is starting to get to be too much. But yeah, I hope that's useful to anyone. I thought it was really cool and kind of really simple to put together. Stay strong. Oh, and you can find more videos like this over at Sam Proof on YouTube, youtube.com/SamProof. And if you are interested in any sort of advanced scene switcher OBS consulting, hit me up at samproof.tv.
Okay, so I've got and for the life of me, I don't know why that keeps popping up. That's really annoying. I'm going to actually see if I can just turn that off entirely. All right, cool. So I think that was really interesting, and I kind of didn't have a chance to watch that before we went live this morning. So it is interesting that the thing that's triggering that is sort of the proximity of your speaking towards two different microphones. Yes. Although as an audio geek, it sort of irritates me that you're not a little bit closer to either of them at any given time. But it is really interesting, and I'm kind of curious, like what. And like, I don't expect you to rattle off a list, but what kind of other triggers are there for Advanced Scene Switcher? Like, what are some of the things that, it can be looking out for?
Aside from just audio, oh my God, it'll take in so many different things. I have to even pull it up. But like, um, you can basically have it trigger based on if you switch to a certain scene, if your cursor moves to a certain point in the frame. Like I have this great routine for when I play Magic the Gathering, or any game that has like sort of standard areas that as a streamer you might go to. Like in Magic, you know, I want to check out my opponent's deck or pull up a card or something, and those are very specific places on screen. So if my cursor goes there, it zooms in, and then I, you know, zooms back out when I return my cursor down to my own hand. You know, you can have it do things based on date, time, uh, whatever media you've got playing. If the, like, if a video starts, if a video stops, things like that. It'll watch folders. So if you create sort of like a Dropbox folder that connects to your desktop or something, right? Like there's an iCloud connection there. You could have people send you images, and then you know, it'll update whatever sort of like community image source you want to create. You know, something that hopefully you safeguard and don't put live directly, but it just shows up and you can see it in preview. If there's like, you know, 24 different things, so I couldn't even rattle off all of those. You can even
I must admit, I'm looking at the
trigger another macro. Yeah,
I'm looking at the wiki that they've got here, and it's like audio, clipboard, cursor, date and time, display, files, even MIDI. Like, and again, I have so many MIDI keyboards, it's kind of ridiculous. I could potentially, you know, press a button on one of them and trigger something. That's really cool, and it is definitely an advanced feature. So it is something that you might want to think about.
And even within that, it can get more advanced because it has the ability to post and get WebSockets. So you can just API connect to something even bigger, which is part of, you know, like if I have a routine that involves if IFTTT that uses Mix It Up, which John and I have talked about, which triggers when a calendar event happens in my Google Calendar. You could theoretically do it through Advanced Scene Switcher now as well.
And Said writes, wondering how it would work
like
with activating a stroke filter depending on who is speaking. I'm sure that would be pretty straightforward. Just toggling the filter visibility.
That is very straightforward.
Yeah.
Yes.
And even
exactly like, in your, you know, in your, you know, if this then, in the then portion, it would just be exactly what John said. You're just finding that filter and turning it on or turning it off.
Absolutely. All right. This is the video and live streaming show. It's a bit of a one-off reforming of the band. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you happen to be watching this. Great to have your company today. Let's actually turn our attention now to the Stream Deck. So Elgato have produced a whole bunch of wonderful Stream Deck devices. They're basically, you can program them to do all kinds of wonderful things. Obviously, a lot of the stuff is geared towards streaming, but they are really useful for everybody that uses a computer. And they have, you know, buttons to press and foot pedals and all kinds of stuff. I can't even keep up with all of it right now. But I guess the one I want to talk to you about today, and again, some of the regular viewers will know where I'm headed with all of this, but it is the Virtual Stream Deck. So this is technically in early access. I'm not really sure how this is going to go in the longer term, because I think at the moment, and I haven't seen Elgato say this, but I think you do physically need to own a real Stream Deck device and connect it periodically to your computer to use this as another option. So what you need to do if you want to get early access is essentially go to this page on Elgato's website and you can download this software. You do also need the Stream Deck software, and you do need a physical device connected periodically. Again, I don't know what that looks like. The other thing too is you can get Stream Deck on the mobile. That in and of itself doesn't appear to be enough to actually let you use this. So you need a physical device somewhere along the line. And again, this is all in beta. This could change in the future. So I just want to keep this up. I'm a little distracted by this comment. Hello, Ender Trading, who writes,
Hey,
hello
Ender.
from the mountains in Vietnam on the border with China. The internet is good, but Google Maps is messed up. I love the
Oh.
fact that the internet is probably better in Vietnam than it is in America right now, but it is what it is. And he says, great to see you back, Sam. So yes, thank you,
It's good to be back.
Ender, for that one. So essentially, once you've got this, you can download it and install it. If I go to my Stream Deck software, which I thought I still had open, but I don't, so I'm just going to bring it up again. There we go. So once you've got this installed, it actually really doesn't look very different. You kind of need to keep your eyes open. But once you've got that extra thing installed, you have this option. If you go to your Stream Deck, and I've got like my mini, I've got my extra large, I've got the mobile, and I've got a whole bunch of these virtual Stream Decks. So what you can do is you can actually come in and add a new one. And you can come up to here and choose your options. So there's some really cool... And Saeed's got some great information for us. So we'll come back to that in a second. But essentially, you can choose how many rows you want, how many columns. And I think you can have up to 8 by 8. You can adjust the key size. So you can make them really, really big. And I think that's been a complaint of some people, is that the buttons can be a little bit small at times. So you can certainly change that.
Sure.
We've actually got these two options. One is called fixed and one is called dynamic. The great thing about this, and I'm just gonna make up a keyboard shortcut for my purposes here today. But if I have it fixed, it'll always show up in the same place, which might be useful. But we also have dynamic, and the great thing about dynamic is this will pop up now wherever I happen to have the mouse. So if I move that and I trigger that, it'll pop up wherever the mouse is. And that could be across several different screens. So again, it just depends on what you're kind of looking for. But I'm going to actually go to one I prepared earlier. So at the moment, I've got 3x3. And again, if we go back into our settings, we can assign a hotkey here. So that is always an option. But the other thing we can do is we can also set up a physical button on a physical Stream Deck to trigger this as well. I've got a few different things on here. So essentially, if I go to one of my physical Stream Decks, and in this case, I think I put it on the mini, we have this thing under the Stream Deck options, and it's kind of obscured by Sam's head, I think, a little bit.
You can turn me off. Put me on.
So if I do this and I do screen share full screen, so Stream Deck, and there's just this little thing here called VSD toggle, and you can drag that on here. You can give this a name. You just specify which one of your virtual Stream Decks you want to show, and if it's got a profile associated with it, you can do that. And now if I click on that button, those extra options will come up. So I can do things like I can trigger the speed editor overlay. Actually, I can't do that here because it's in a different scene, but just take my word for it. That's in fact, I will do that again just to make sure that I've turned it off. But essentially, we can sort of trigger all those different things in here. So the thing about this, I guess, is even with an extra large and a mini, I still need more buttons, Sam. I need more buttons. So I love the idea that I can sort of do this and bring up extra buttons when I need to. And I'm not sure.
John is going to get a fourth monitor just to make it a buttons monitor.
Yes. And potentially maybe even a touch screen button. I don't know if I guess that might work.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, the chat has been on fire about this. So Reluctant Creators writes, that's correct. Elgato decks act as your license key. And Saeed's got the documentation from the Elgato Help Center. Once activated, you can disconnect the device if you prefer. Virtual Stream Deck will continue to function for up to 30 days without any device connected. To activate the Virtual Stream Deck, you must connect a compatible Elgato device such as a Stream Deck or Stream Deck Pedal during the initial setup. And I guess the example that I was thinking about with this one is I've got a laptop. I don't necessarily want to carry around a second Stream Deck, but if I just connect it once a month at home, I can use the virtual options and maybe trigger them via the keyboard shortcuts that I set up. So That's essentially the Stream Deck Virtual. It's cool. It's nifty. You do need to own a physical product to use that though. So just keep that in mind. I don't know if have you even had a chance to play with that yet?
No, I haven't. I didn't even realize that existed until just now.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad we're sort of
Now
teaching.
my mind is spinning.
We're sort of teaching each other new things, which is awesome. And I like I said, you can do an 8x8 grid maximum, but I don't know how many. I don't even think there's. I have a feeling there probably isn't much of a restriction on how many virtual Stream Decks. I have 6 set up, and only for demonstration purposes. I haven't really set them up properly for my own use yet, so that is certainly something we could potentially play with. All right. Well, that's really all I wanted to show you with that. And obviously, anything that you can do with a Stream Deck, you can do with those buttons. So again, check out the Stream Deck Marketplace for plugins for the Stream Deck. They're available for OBS. They're available for Meld Studio. All kinds of really, really cool stuff. There's a Discord one too as well. So there's all kinds of stuff that you could potentially do with that. And I really do love it. It's really cool. Hello, Michelle J. Raymonds. Great to have your company. She writes, hey, been a while since I've seen you both on Saturday morning. Yeah, I mean, it's at least 6 months by YouTube's count. So,
Yeah.
And again, I should say, we're probably not going to be doing this all the time. It's just that Sam had a little bit more time this week. So we thought, what the hell, we'll give it a go. But we are sort of sharing tips and tricks of some of our favorite software. And I think it is time that we really need to talk about Mix It Up, Sam, because Mix It Up is amazing. And again, it's a bit like OBS. It's a bit like DaVinci Resolve. I'm sure I only know like 1% of the power, and that in and of itself is enough for me. But I know you're much more of a power user. So talk to us about, I guess, first of all, what is it and why we might want to use it?
Yeah, so in a lot of ways, Mix It Up is very similar to Advanced Scene Switcher for OBS, but Mix It Up is its own standalone app. It runs on, right now, only PC. And it was originally created for Mixer, and when Mixer went away, they made a very quick pivot to bring in Twitch, and then eventually made connections for both YouTube and Trovo as well. So primarily, I would think of it as a Twitch/YouTube chatbot, because honestly, nobody uses Trovo, and go from there. But it can do a whole lot of things, including letting you create custom routines that you can trigger through the chat. It does timers. It does events. So when somebody follows or subscribes to you on a challenge or on a channel, that consider an event. If they donate money, if you have a monetized account, that also consider an event. Things like that. Anything related to it happened on Twitch or YouTube, and now I can do something with that information. And it does a whole slew of other things. In the past, I showed John how to set up a timer and a chat command. I think we even set up a like a specific person's greeting. If like somebody shows up in chat, like that one person, I think it was Saeed, has their own either command or just a message that shows up when he shows up.
And these are still actually running, so you can see down the bottom, John's chat support says, welcome back, Saeed. Sam mentioned the timer as well, so although actually there's another one here for Ernesto that says, hey Ernesto, thanks for joining us. I've actually set up a bunch of these based on individual users. But the timer that you referred to, like I have this thing that just says, hey, remember to like and subscribe. And that goes every 15 minutes just to let people know to do that.
Yeah.
So those are all cool things. Yep.
And Mix It Up's control is beyond the scope of just chat. You can also connect it via WebSocket to OBS itself to do things very similar to the Advanced Scene Switcher, where it can now switch scenes, turn on and off sources, manipulate all of that kind of data that's inside of OBS as well. So almost anything you can do in one, you can do in the other. There's some, specialities there. If I had never, found Mix It Up first, I would probably do 90% of those things in Advanced Scene Switcher at this point, because the guy that built that thing has like really put some effort into it recently. However, I think Mix It Up has an easier UI or UX to use. I think it's just a lot more intuitive in a lot of ways. John's got the download page right there. So if you go to mixitupapp.com, that is the official website. You can download it there. It's free. There's no service, no maintenance. If you think it's an amazing product, I do believe they have like a Patreon or something. And it's like two guys who worked for Microsoft that are still running this thing out of pocket today. And they have a very active Discord. And if you ever have issues with it, they usually respond within like a few hours, but generally 24 hours.
One thing we probably do need to call out is just that this is Windows-based software. So for once,
I did
the Mac
mention
people miss out. Yeah. I just want to mention that because sometimes they're a bit grumpy about that.
That is the one big difference between Advanced Scene Switcher and Mix It Up is Advanced Scene Switcher does work on both Windows and Mac. Anywhere you can run OBS, you can run Advanced Scene Switcher. Whereas, Mix It Up is PC only, Windows only.
Nice. So I do have Mix It Up running for my stream right now. This is the chat itself, and also the Restream bot is bringing things in from other destinations as well, which is quite useful. The great thing about this is, and again, I'll just say it as my classic example for everything, is that while this is running, it will remember everything that Said's ever done. So I can potentially sort of go in and look at all past messages. I can see if I've set up special commands for Said. But like it looks like
it said yesterday he ate a burrito.
He ate a burrito.
Just kidding.
I mean, had he volunteered that, it probably would be it would be in the chat history. But
if that's
but like it says, he's watched 40 hours and 45 minutes of, and this is only since I've been using this software, by the way, because he's probably been here longer than that anyway. But and how long his account's been there, and what it is. But the thing about this, I guess, is, and sorry if I'm stealing your thunder a little bit, like we have all these different options, like the timers that you mentioned before. I think some of these things are on and some of them aren't on. So, I mean, that one, for example, must be the ungrouped one. It's been so long since I've actually played in this space, like and subscribe.
Yeah.
So that presumably, that is that command that I sort of alluded to a second ago. So it says, hey, remember to like and subscribe. And that's set up to sort of go every 30 minutes, every 15 minutes. I don't remember exactly. But I guess, like, what kind of thing do you want to talk to us about this today? And I realized we hadn't had a lot of time to plan this out, so I'm happy to go wherever you want to go.
Yeah, I originally was going to come at you with something that I think might be a little more complicated than the amount of time we actually have. So I'm gonna shift. We're gonna pivot to Mix It Up has some built-in mini games. So if you are the kind of streamer that does a lot of community stuff, or you like to start your stream with sort of a starting soon, thing, and you're waiting like 5-10 minutes before you're actually on there talking, or even just as part of the stream, they have these mini games, and you can either incorporate them directly in your stream or just let them run in the chat. So I wanted to show you how to do a very simple trivia game, because I feel like that would be something that your audience might actually be interested in using. If you go to the navigation inside of Mix It Up, I'm going to walk you through this.
Okay, cool.
Since you have the better display than me.
Yep.
And you just scroll down on the left to games. It's about,
there we go.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and then you will get to that screen at the bottom. You see new game. Yes, exactly. Click that new game button. And now at the top, there's a drop down. Just look for trivia and then hit OK. And now it's going to give you all of these options in your command editor. So first off, if you wanted to, you could change the name of this or change the chat trigger. So the way this is going to work right now is ! trivia. It'll throw out a trivia question, and everyone is going to give it's going to give you a multiple choice of I believe 4 answers. Give you a question, 4 answers, and you write in the chat A, B, C, D basically. And after about a minute, it will declare, or in this case, I think it defaulted to 30 seconds. It'll announce what the the correct answer is, and it will reward anyone who did that with whatever we tell it to do. In this case, it's 100 of whatever your currency was called. So John's already figured out how to do the custom questions. It does also have a connection to a database of just hundreds of questions. So yeah, you can one by one put in custom questions, which is exactly what I was going to show you how to do. But John has figured it out. You hit the add question button at that bottom right.
Mm-hmm.
The first field on the left is going to be your question.
Yep.
The following fields, you have 4 fields. The very first one is going to be the one that is correct. And then you give 3 MacGuffins that are, wrong answers. And it will shuffle those when it puts them out there. So people aren't always going, it's obviously A, that was the first one. It will shuffle the answers. And then, you just continue to add on as many as you want.
So, I mean, obviously everyone watching has seen me put in the correct answer here. So this is probably not a great example, but I'm just wondering, like, what would it take for me to make this available to the YouTube viewers on my channel? Like, is it just a question
once you hit that...
get rid of that.
Yeah, once you hit that save button, the disk button at the bottom, it's active.
Okay.
And then somebody just needs to hit !trivia in your chat, and it should throw it out there.
And I should say we're going out to a lot of different places. This will only work if you're watching from the Learn Live Streaming YouTube channel. I don't even have this set up on Twitch anymore. So just keep that in mind. But Said, if you want to do the honors, I think that's where you're watching from. I mean, potentially I could probably do that in the chat as well. So I could go trivia.
I think you could actually technically run it from the games thing, but yeah.
Okay, cool.
So there's the prompt, and
it looks like I may have triggered it on yours as well, because
that's true.
Which is really trippy and weird, but because we've connected a billion things together. So I might go back to the games and just see if there is something I could potentially look at over here. So if I don't know, if I go play, that's to test the command. Okay, yeah. So I mean, that's really trippy. So maybe we need to try this again when I'm not going out to Sam's places too, because the question that came up was completely unrelated.
No,
but
I think that is, well, yeah. So what I was saying is it does have online questions, and you have that enabled currently. So I think that question is on your YouTube. So if you want to open that up again, I will show you how to disable that. It's right in that start settings box, and you're just going to click where it says use online questions. Just turn that one off, toggle that off to the left.
I'm lost completely. Talk me through that again.
Go to the top left where you have the trivia and then the trivia command, right? You see that?
Yeah.
No, you bring that window back up.
Okay. Yeah. Trivia command. Yeah.
The first blue box under it. So right now you're in user requirements. Go to
I see. Yeah. Cool.
Okay. And now it should only do the question that you have entered.
All right. Let me try that again then. So, yes. Trivia. All right, cool. So I've got that now. So if I just go with the correct answer, which in this case is 4, will that suffice?
It should. You gotta
find
give
out
it
in a second.
30 seconds to give people a chance, and then and then you'll win 100 currency, whatever your currency is.
Okay, so the correct answer was obsproject.com. Everyone who guessed won 100. And I guess it's probably looking for a word there to determine what our currency is.
Yeah,
and I guess...
can. Yeah, so you can go in and customize it for that message, which is I think it's called correct answer prompt. You go into that, and so that'll be that third line there of blue boxes where it has the 3 small blue boxes. Yeah, you got it. And then you can manually type in whatever your currency is called. There is actually special identifier you can put in that will actually write out the names of the people who won, so they
Oh, that would
actually
be
know
cool.
that they won. So yeah, you can customize it in those ways. Yeah, I think the way you used it is exactly what I was trying to get to, which is this is a really, cool game for sort of loyalty factor, where you can also use it as like a kind of a quiz on whatever your topic, is for your stream or whatever. Um, so people who are paying attention will know the answers, right? And that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
also gives you that insight of like, oh, I haven't been doing a good enough job. Not enough people know it was this thing, but whatever it is. So maybe it could be used, in a helpful manner aside from just to have fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's actually really cool, and I guess like we can set up a number of different games. So I'd almost be
Yeah.
inclined to like create a new game for each topic if I were to use that approach. I guess the other thing too, and this
Sure.
is kind of hilarious, but I don't think you've actually got this functionality yet. But on YouTube, we have the top fans leaderboard for live streams now. I'm just looking at
Yes.
it, and the kind of hilarious thing about it is the restream bot is in first place because it's repeating things from
Because
other
it talks the
places.
most. Right.
And the
Right.
chat,
Right.
my chat support is actually number 2, and then Saeed's in number 3, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping at some point YouTube will actually surface that stuff so we can use it in chatbots and in OBS. I think that would be really, really fun.
That would be great. Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
it'd be
I've,
really
I've got
cool if
6
we could
people.
put
6.
that information out there.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm talking over you, just like old times.
Hey.
So, I think that's really cool. And again, we've done entire shows on Mix It Up in the past. So if you want to go through the archives and maybe check those out, that would probably be helpful. Again, this is very much for YouTube, Twitch, and Trovo, which Sam admits nobody uses.
Yes.
I don't even know what it is really. I had some issues with it actually going out to Twitch and YouTube at the same time. So I kind of turned off the Twitch functionality over there because I am very YouTube focused, obviously. But yes, I hope that's been useful. I mean, it's been so great to catch up with Sam and have so many wonderful people in the chat as well. But Sam, if people want to catch up with you more generally, where can they go to watch your content and all that cool stuff?
Yeah, if you want to see that video that I recorded again, that I showed earlier, or similar videos, find me on my YouTube channel or go to samproof.tv. And if there were no cats in this stream today, but as Mean said over in my chat, everyone could come to Cute Avalanche and see the trivia bot in action, where we do have several custom questions as well as the online one. And go to cuteavalanche.com for our 24/7 cat cam.
Nice. And yes, Means definitely said that. I'll just put that up on the chat. If you wanna catch up with me, my poor website really is it needs a lot of attention, but you can head over to johnlacey.com. There's a whole bunch of social links at the bottom of those pages. Come find us, come like and subscribe, do all of the things. I don't know when we're going to be together again in this fashion, but we're certainly both doing our things. So subscribe to the channel, stay in touch. Have a great week and have a great weekend when you get there, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.